I think we should get the federal government out of the business of subsidizing states. The federal government has no business subsidizing states from a tax standpoint. This should be fair in that we treat all the states the same way.
That's interesting, huh? That was Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin defending the elimination of state and local tax deductions in the Republican tax reform plan. Mr. Mnuchin, I hate to say it, because I'm a New Yorker and I live here and I get a deduction because of state and local taxes, but he's right. It's not fair that states like New York, California, New Jersey, all which, by the way, happen to be blue, have been getting a free pass all these years. And maybe if these states actually lowered their state income tax, they wouldn't be dealing with this issue, right? My next guest says the state of Texas, which, by the way, has no state income tax, shouldn't be subsidizing the rest of the country. Welcome, Congressman Brian Babin. Good to have you here, sir.
Good to be with you, Trish.
All right, Congressman, you heard me admit, I like being able to deduct what I pay in New York. And under the Republican plan, I wouldn't be able to do that anymore. People living in San Francisco wouldn't be able to do that anymore. People living in New Jersey wouldn't be able to do that anymore. But it wouldn't matter for you in Texas, would it?
Well, actually, you know, we get to deduct our taxes as well on our property taxes.
All right. So you feel a little bit of pain then, too.
Well, but we have no state income tax, so that actually makes a lot of difference. But again, I heard you say in your previous segment, why should the American taxpayer be bailing out states that have high taxes? You know, the people can vote in those high tax states. Yeah. Elect folks that will get rid of that income tax. That'll drop your taxes. Mm-hmm. And you know what?
I'm with you. And again, yeah. I don't want to be because it's going to cost me. But you think about federally, right? You have a federal income tax.
Right.
How is it that you can deduct your state income tax, what you pay to your state, and say, well, I can pay less federal tax because I paid this much to New York or California? That doesn't seem right because you're kind of cheating the federal government out of that money, and it's going into New York's coffers instead.
Well, there's no question about it that it is, in a way, a subsidization, you know, a subsidized payment. You know, that helps these high tax states out. And of course, you know, Trish, we're being accused of having special interests, tax cuts for the wealthy. But we have one special interest group, and that is the American people. The American people have not had a tax break in a long, long time. In fact, the tax code is so big now, it's twice as long as the Bible with none of the good news. It is absolutely time to change, and that's what we're going to do.
This will be a big deal. I mean, we haven't seen any kind of meaningful tax reform since Ronald Reagan. Congressman, do you really believe that it can get done? Are you going to see a bipartisan effort here?
You know what? I can't tell you that we're going to see a bipartisan effort. I hope we do get some Democrats on board, but I think we can get it done.
So do you have the Republican, I should say bipartisan Republican effort, because it feels sometimes like the Republican Party is going in two different directions. Do you think that the Republicans will line up behind this?
Well, I can tell you that we're still working out some of the devil's in the details on this thing. And we will be working out some of the details on this thing, and I believe that we're going to get there. I can tell you from a House standpoint where I serve that I think we're going to get a good tax reform package. And we will send that over to the Senate, and we will see what they do.
Where are you thinking in terms of these rates? I mean, we're talking about 3 different categories for tax rates. What would the income levels possibly be?
Well, you know, I can't tell you the details of where the breakdown of the different tax brackets individually would be. But I do know that we're going to take 7 tax brackets, which is very, very complex, with all the deductions and what have you. We're going to reduce that down to 3. And we're going to, and there is no tax increase in spite of what, contrary to what our opponents across the aisle are saying, there is not a tax increase in here. These 3 tax brackets are going to take the ones that are currently at 10%, and they'll drop them to 0%.
All right.
And we've got to double deduction, a standard deduction, which is going to jump it up to $24,000. It's going to be a tax break for everybody. It's going to be a shot in the arm for the economy of the United States of America, and it's high time. We have to grow our way out of this $20 trillion plus debt. And I think this is a very good start.
Growth would be good. I got to leave it there, sir. Thank you so much, Congressman Babin.